This is CMN. This is Canadian MGTOW. Having fun, and not giving a shit. Today's newsbreak is a definite equality theme. My lead story is regarding abusive tweets on Twitter. Twitter boss, and full-time mangina, Jack Dorsey has said tackling abuse will be a priority. One think tank conducted a 3-week study that attempted to count the number of uses of 2 particular words that it deemed as indicators of, gasp, misogyny. It found 10,000 abusive tweets in Britain which targeted 6,500 unique users. Several female MPs started a campaign, complete with hashtag, called Reclaim the Internet. It will be interesting to see how this campaign progresses, as the study I just mentioned, in addition of the 10,000 abusive tweets it found, also found out that 50% of them came from, wait for it, women. Glad to see that equality thing is working out. Speaking of wanting equality, but also wanting special treatment, the next story is about Harvard University. When classes start in the fall, all clubs will have to be gender neutral. But in feminist language, all does not mean all. The all-female Seneca organization will officially go gender neutral in accordance with the new Harvard policy guidelines, but will not actually have to admit any men. Say what? Through some semantic changes to its bylaws, the women's group can violate the new rules because it is a non-profit status and isn't considered purely social. This elastic interpretation also seems to coincide with the outcry from Harvard's all-female groups, who want the gender-inclusive policy enforced, just not against them. As usual, they used the usual cop-out of claiming that women's groups are safe spaces for female students, and that welcoming men opens up the group to the possibility of sexual assault. In other words, the usual feminist mantra of all men are rapists. With the self-proclaimed leading scholarly institution in the United States engaging in such ridiculous doublethink, is it a wonder society is collapsing? So there you have it. Safe spaces, special considerations, they need a leg up while claiming to be just as capable. Speaking of special snowflakes and special privileges, my last story features a child custody battle with obvious bias on the court's part. A father was unable to get custody of his teenage daughters in spite of their mother being married to a registered sex offender. The sex offender had served 4 years in prison for an attempted sexual assault of his then 15-year-old stepdaughter from a previous marriage. The 4-justice majority of the Nebraska Supreme Court concluded that the law only requires the mother to produce evidence the girls are not at significant risk. Although it is presumed the girls are at risk when they have unsupervised contact with any sex offender with a felony offense, this presumption can be overcome by the custodial parent, in this case the mother. Did anyone step back and question the judgment of someone who would voluntarily marry a registered sex offender? Never mind that of all criminals, child molesters have the highest rate of recidivism. They are 5 times more likely to reoffend according to FBI statistics. You can almost see how this will play out. The girls will be molested, the father will kill the bastard, and then the father will go to jail. This is why men's rights groups need to exist. 100% sexist anti-father laws, and a society that simply does not value fathers. And by the way, the pictures of women that I've displayed in this last segment, are all teachers that were charged with having sex with underage students. All of them sex offenders which we never hear even a whisper about, from feminists. I'm Canadian MGTOW. More news later on this CMN station.